You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, the Oklahoma Municipal League throws its support behind the city of Miami in the ongoing battle with the GRDA.
Also, the future of agricultural education in Neosho takes shape as a new 30,000 square foot center officially opens.
And we have rain showers continuing and even some thunderstorms through the morning hours, non-severe, but I'm going to have a look at what you can expect.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney, and it is 7 a.m., May 2nd.
Yes.
So we're already in May. Blowing
Friday
by.
morning.
This year is blowing by. Yeah.
It certainly has. It certainly has. And this past month, April, has felt long, especially for multiple communities in the 4 states with the severe weather.
And the flooding.
Just a lot going on. But there was some good news yesterday. Well, the ribbon is cut on the newest facility for the Neosho School District.
KOAM's Anthony Saviello tells us more about how the teachers and students are feeling to finally reach this moment.
30,000. That's the number of square feet within this new facility.
Just to have the space and the tools to do that, I have a bigger greenhouse now, and so just the space for more kids to be involved and be a part of it.
400. That's the number of students that will walk through its doors each day.
Ag Education FFA is I feel like a perfect combination of things. The classroom learning, the leadership development, and then the community service that we do as kids latch on to that.
1. The number of seniors who serve as the FFA president who get to see a dream become reality.
When going to the fairs and everything, I was just that little girl because I was against so many people that have done it forever because they grew up in that background. And so I would tell myself to keep going because failure is okay, because here I am today speaking in front of everyone. I've had so many experiences and journeys and opportunities, and I'm super thankful, and I would tell you to take that chance because as I reflect now, the time in the Blue Jacket is very short. It may seem like 4 years a long time. It is not.
The work of Emma Butler and her fellow students didn't go unnoticed by their teachers.
The students at Neosho are just great students that are willing to learn and jump in and do the right thing. And so with them and then a great team of teachers and supportive administration and school board, it's just a perfect combination of things to get where we're at today.
No horsing around. It took work.
I attended schools, held posters up on the voting day to vote yes. I went and talked at public events, try to inspire the people to see how important it is to be able to have this and do this. And so I just kind of look back, and I'm super thankful for that opportunity. It's not only helped me grow as a person, but to see how much it takes to get the community involved and see what it's like. And so that's really important to me, something I'll use for the rest of my life, all that skill.
Work that's led to a special moment. In Neosho, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Neosho students will begin using the facility in the fall, and it's so exciting for those students and also the community of Southwest Missouri. Agriculture is such, a big part of so many people's lives here. So it's great to see young minds taking shape and starting something new with this agriculture center.
Yes, it is. And I know they appreciate the rain.
Yes.
However, a few of us may not love to start our Friday morning off with all of this rainfall, but you can see we've got some showers and even some rumbles of thunder out there. You can see a couple of lightning strikes south of Monette, but we're looking pretty good. Severe threat was south of us. You can see how some strong storms led this big wide shower, and even embedded in some of these, where the red is out Jay, Pineville, Bentonville. Going to see some lightning strikes out there, so it's going to be a little loud at times, but the rest of us out to Miami, moving up to Columbus, Joplin, staying mostly just south of Joplin now, all the way out to Greenfield, gonna see some of these rain showers continuing over the next couple of hours. So here we go, we're gonna continue to push through. Got lighter showers towards mid-morning, about 9 a.m., 10 a.m. All of this is gonna start to clear out by about 10 to 11. After that, we are still gonna have cloudy skies, and we're dealing with the following front. We're going to have some isolated storms popping up just south of the front, or just north of the front, and we are having not a big threat with that either, no severe threat, but it may be a little bit of a disruption because it's mid-afternoon, so it's about 2:30, 3 p.m. right when you're still kind of getting outside. Then after all of that clears out, a couple of pop-up showers remain through the later afternoon into early evening, but we finally see the clouds clearing, and then we have a dry weekend ahead, but I'll have more details on that coming up.
All right, we'll check in with you soon, Lindsay. Thanks. The city of Miami gets a major backing in its ongoing battle with the Grand River Dam Authority. Continuous flooding in Miami has become the norm, an issue the city blames on the GRDA. Now, city leaders claim the GRDA prioritizes profit over safety by maintaining elevated lake levels. They say those levels have led to repeating flooding, destroying homes and businesses, stunting economic growth, and endangering lives. The GRDA manages Grand Lake and the Pensacola Dam. The Federal Energy Regulatory Commission recently ruled the GRDA was in violation of its operational license, a license it's been running on since 1992, and it's due for renewal at the end of this month. The Oklahoma Municipal League is now backing the city of Miami and wants to hold the GRDA accountable. In a letter to the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, the league urges the FERC to impose limitations and requirements regarding the relicensure and operations of the Pensacola Dam. Miami Mayor Bless Parker shared a copy of the letter on Facebook, thanking the league for its support of Miami and its citizens. The national deadline to get your Real ID is coming soon. Starting May 7th, if you don't have a Real ID, you may not be able to access certain government buildings or get on some flights. As KOAM's Lonnie Walton reports, depending on how you plan to travel, you might want to get yours.
I spoke to locals in Missouri who says they have things to do and places to go. That's why they got their Real IDs.
Veteran, 20 years in the Navy.
Bill Stansbury is a Call Junction resident. He says his history in the Navy is why having a Real ID is important to him.
If I want to go somewhere and I need a military to get in, that's proof.
He's right about that, according to Tris Vincent from the Missouri Department of Revenue.
And the reason that you do need a Real ID is if you're going to be flying on a commercial flight, or if you're going to go into a federal courthouse or visit a military base or nuclear power plant, then you're going to need that Real ID to gain access.
Joplin resident Michelle Gray is a flight attendant. She says the process of getting an ID is fairly simple, and if you want to fly, you need it.
We have what's called KCM, where you go through TSA, and that is all getting ready to change, and most people that are going through TSA now have to have a Real ID.
Vincent says you should start this process right away if you have summer plans, because if you don't have your ID, you may not be going anywhere.
I don't know what those answers are, and I don't know if there are answers, but I certainly, if you spent money on a trip, you certainly don't want to not get on the airplane.
I told Stansbury most people in Missouri currently don't have their Real IDs. He says,
I could care less.
And if you don't plan on driving domestically or getting inside government buildings, our expert says you may not even need it. Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Although fewer than half of folks in Missouri, Kansas, and Arkansas have their Real IDs, in some states it's at or near 100%. And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, prices from Chinese goods look to be going up as President Trump's tariff loophole comes to an end. We'll have the latest from Washington. And later, around 1 million one-time use printer cartridges a day fill U.S. landfills. We'll examine why one California town is trying to ban them. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Well, the Trump administration is ending federal funding for school mental health. The Department of Education is notifying impacted districts that $1 billion in grants coming from the 2022 Bipartisan Safer Communities Act will be canceled for hiring more school mental health counselors. The administration says grants have been used for race focus or diversity, equity, and inclusion hiring and quotas, and not for merit hiring and evidence-based mental health need. Well, 7 active duty transgender service members are asking the Supreme Court not to enforce a ban on transgender people in the military. Last week, the Trump administration filed an emergency appeal to the Supreme Court asking to enforce it while the legal challenges unfold. The service members are arguing that this ban is different because it impacts service members who transitioned prior to the ban. The plaintiffs say discharging all trans service members would create thousands of vacancies in the military. Well, if you shop online at Amazon Haul, Temu, or Shein, you might notice higher prices. Now, that's because the de minimis tariff exemption for Chinese imports ended this morning. Amy Kiley reports on the change.
Even very, very cheap items are now being tariffed.
The era of Americans buying ultra-cheap products from China might be waning. As of this morning, a tariff loophole is closed for Chinese imports worth $800 or less. That's due to executive action from President Donald Trump last month.
It's a big scam going on against our country.
Here are the new tariffs for Chinese imports in the affected price range. An item sent via the postal system carries a 120% duty or a $100 fee. On June 1st, the flat cost option rises to $200. An item shipped another way likely faces Trump's 145% tariff hike.
Maybe the children will have $2 instead of $30, you know? And maybe the $2 will cost a couple of bucks more than they would normally.
Chinese e-commerce giants Shein and Temu say they raised prices a week ago to prepare for the loophole's end. Temu's website uses the label local warehouse for items it says aren't subject to duties. Amazon says it considered showing how tariffs affect prices on its low-cost Amazon Haul site. After a clash with the White House, it's backing off that idea, but not backing off potential price hikes.
When you have a low margin business, you don't have as much wiggle room to deal with tariffs, and you have to pass that on to consumers more.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
And those are our top national stories this morning. Let's check in with Lindsay for a quick look at your forecast.
Well, we've got showers and you can see thunderstorms just south of us, though we are getting some of that. Now you can see out near Monette, out in Bentonville, a little bit of lightning, some rumbles of thunder, but not too bad. Now you can see most of Kansas, Oklahoma cleared out, but Joplin area still getting a few of those rain showers, or at least just south of Joplin. So if you're making a commute out from Neosho, Monette, Erie, you might still be getting in some rainfall. But if you're in the Pittsburgh area, looking pretty clear. Now, most of the area is going to stay dry. Once all of this clears out, it's going to continue to move out to the east over the next 2 hours before it's finally cleared out of the area. But then we have a cold front moving in, and there you can see that line of showers and thunderstorms along the cold front. That's going to be pushing in a little bit later on this afternoon, early afternoon. Not a severe threat, but that'll be our last chance of rain. It's going to be isolated storms popping up, and then everything starts to clear out. We finally see some clear skies this evening and through the weekend, but I'm going to have a look at your weekend forecast coming up right after this. Well, we're still seeing showers and thunderstorms through your morning commute, mostly staying south of I-44, though a few showers kind of pushing up into the Joplin area. We haven't seen a big threat. Some thunderstorms you can see south of Goodman out near Pineville, but Joplin area looking, or at least starting to look clear. Another little patch of rainfall pushing in, but outside of that, we're looking good for the rest of your morning. Now, taking a look outside downtown Pittsburgh, definitely seeing overcast skies. It is going to be a bit of a cloudy, dreary day through the morning hours and early afternoon hours, but Pittsburgh staying dry. However, taking a look outside the Joplin area, you can see we've had a little bit of rainfall out there. Oh, sunshine peeking through that sunrise, so we can't complain too much. A little bit of rain, but no severe threat, and it's on its way out of here. So as you start your morning, temperatures are going to be in the upper 50s, and we might still have some rain, especially if you're coming in from south of I-44 and then heading home. Temperatures warming up about 10 degrees to the upper 60s. Now, if clouds clear out a little bit earlier, we may see temperatures reaching just about 70 degrees. And then we have isolated showers and isolated thunderstorms continuing. So not going to be a big threat there either, but it could still just interrupt your afternoon. This is going to be about 2:30, 3 p.m. line of storms moving in following that cold front. And again, it's non-severe storms, so we're not expecting a lot more rain, another 1/10 of an inch across the area. And even in those isolated storms, that could be pushing through early to mid-afternoon. Not seeing a severe threat there, not seeing a lot of rainfall, and it's going to clear out pretty quickly as well. So this evening, no more rain chances. We've got clouds slowly clearing out. Temperatures are going to be in the upper 50s to start out the evening, low 50s to upper 40s to start our Saturday morning. And then this weekend we'll be a little bit cooler. Should be about mid-70s for this time of year. That's our average temperature. So you can see we're about 5 to even 10 degrees cooler than that on Saturday. We're going to be about 66, 67 degrees, maybe even pushing up to 68 degrees on Saturday, though sunny for most of the day. Same on Sunday. We're going to be in the upper 60s, maybe even getting up to about 70 degrees, and then sunny. So we finally have a full weekend where we're going to stay dry. We've got this ridge that's set up over the weekend, pinched in between two low pressure systems. We've got one out to the west, one out to the east. And then by Monday, that low pressure system from the west is going to start to push in. Doesn't affect us until Tuesday. You can see by 7 p.m. starting to see the line of showers and thunderstorms pushing into the area. So we are seeing a chance for thunderstorms Tuesday, Wednesday, even into Thursday as this low pressure system slowly moves across the U.S. and out to the east. So this is now to Thursday afternoons. We've already seen consistent chances for rain, showers, thunderstorms, and then finally giving us a little bit of break Friday morning, but then we have more thunderstorm chances Friday night and into Saturday. So we've got a lot more rain chances to come. After our morning rain clears out this morning, isolated showers, thunderstorms this afternoon, very isolated, not widespread. We're going to have a nice evening this evening and then a great looking weekend. That's a look at your forecast. We'll be right back. Well, business, schools, government agencies, even many of us at home love to print from our computers.
Danya Bacchus looks at why Los Angeles is considering banning the sale of printer cartridges.
This is just kind of a small example of what we have.
Thousands of spent printer cartridges find their way here to Planet Green Recycle outside LA.
We have a warehouse full of these cartridges.
Planet Green is one of only a handful of companies that accept used cartridges and get them printing again. Sean Levy is the founder and CEO.
We remanufacture everything in-house. We do not outsource a single cartridge.
Here, cartridges that can be recycled are inspected, cleaned, repaired, and loaded with new ink. Once they're tested, they head back out for consumers, businesses, and corporations to use.
About 3,000 to 4,000 cartridges every single day is what we produce.
But that's only about half of what comes in. Company executives say the other half are single-use cartridges not made to be recycled.
It's plastic waste, and most people understand floating plastic in the ocean, fish, turtles, and all that. You don't see these cartridges, but they are going into landfills.
Eric Sherman, the company's director of recycling, says about 375 million cartridges end up in U.S. landfills each year.
Many of these cartridges are falsely labeled. They'll have recycling logos on it. They'll say they're remanufactured, and they're not. You can't do anything with them.
Sherman says these generic cartridges are usually sold by e-commerce retailers and made overseas. He says consumers can make a more environmentally conscious choice by buying directly from the original manufacturer or a remanufactured company based in the United States.
Well, the city of Los Angeles could be the first in the country to ban the sale of single-use printer cartridges.
Now it's considering an ordinance that would prohibit their distribution or sale within city limits. Very interesting.
It is fascinating stuff, especially knowing, you know, he talked about it's not all recyclable, even though it says it is. So that's good to keep in mind.
Certainly so. Well, coming up, it's a match made in med school as two Joplin students look to stitch together a perfect happy ending.
And we do have more rain chances to come, but finally a dry weekend ahead.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:28. I'm Elise Snowy. A two-vehicle crash at highway speeds in Jasper County sends 3 to the hospital. It happened around 4:30 Wednesday at Central City Road and West 7th Street. Now, a red pickup truck traveling west on West 7th Street T-boned a northbound minivan taking Central City Road. Missouri State Highway Patrol say the crash occurred as the minivan pulled into the path of the pickup. The driver of the minivan, a 35-year-old woman from Webb City, was rushed priority 1 to a Joplin hospital with serious injuries. 2 individuals were in the pickup. Both the driver and passenger were also taken to a Joplin hospital with reported moderate injuries. Well, Joplin first responders responded to a fire near the campus of Missouri Southern yesterday evening. The reports of the fire on the 4200 block of University Circle came in around 6 p.m. The fire was under control within minutes, but the home suffered substantial smoke damage. No one was home at the time of the fire. The fire marshal was on scene to begin the investigation. An Indiana-based nonprofit assisted with local law officials Thursday evening. Bikers Against Predators live streamed their interaction with the Webb City school employee. The group posed as an underage girl. Webb City police were called to the scene where they detained the employee. Bikers Against Predators' mission is to expose individuals who would seek to harm children. Webb City School later released a statement on the matter, saying in part, quote, on the evening of Thursday, May 1st, district administration was contacted by local law enforcement regarding a situation involving a staff member. The district's #1 priority is keeping our students safe, and upon learning of these allegations, the district immediately cooperated with the Webb City Police Department and put the staff member on administrative leave. Until this matter has been properly investigated by local law enforcement, the district is not in a position to share any additional information as prohibited by board policies. However, we will continue to cooperate with local authorities as they continue their investigation, end quote. Now let's head over to Lindsay for a quick look at your forecast.
Well, we are still seeing those rain chances south of I-44, but severe thunderstorms south of us. So although we are having rain, we're not seeing a severe threat at all today, even with the later afternoon storms. Though, taking a look north of Bentonville, out near Pineville, heading into Cassville, that red could be a little bit of thunderstorm activity, though again, non-severe thunderstorms still may be loud. You can see how it flickers a little bit, and that is the lightning, so we might get a couple of lightning strikes in there. Now, taking a look out in the Joplin Metro, I know there's a lot of commute going on to Joplin and away from Joplin, and it looks pretty clear right now. And that's going to continue. So all of this is starting to push further out within the next hour or so out to the east. We have mostly dry weather towards this afternoon. This is noon. Right behind that cold front, you're going to see a couple of these pop-up thunderstorms. Now our cold front's just ahead of that line of storms, Nevada out to Joplin, but those storms are caused by the cold front. Not a big threat. Might get a little bit of lightning there, a little bit of thunderstorm activity, but most of us are staying dry. All of that clears out by mid-afternoon, about 4:30. Again, having a couple of these pop-up showers may be a potential just due to instability, but again, not a severe threat. And then by this afternoon and evening, we're going to finally see clear skies, and that continues through the weekend. But I'm going to have a full look forecast coming up.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. Well, Match Day is a big day for medical students where they find out where they will start their residency program. 2 engaged medical students were lucky enough to match into just 50 minutes away from each other. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more on the couple's story.
It all started when Michaela Lebo came to KCU Joplin from San Diego to pursue her dream of being a doctor. She ended up finding even more. KCU Joplin is where she found love.
During my first year of medical school and Dominic's second year of medical school, so we were in 2 different classes. We met at a local bar here in Joplin, Missouri, and didn't know each other prior to that night.
That's where their love story begins. And for the coming years, they would spend every step of their medical school journey together, even helping each other with studying.
Our first and second year, we saw a lot of each other on campus, studied together.
Years before Match Day, Dominic took an educational opportunity that would also increase their chances of couples matching in the future.
I took a year off at an anatomy fellowship where I got a chance to lead by example and teach and really develop research based around cadaver. And so I had to take that year not only just to make myself more competitive for orthopedics, but for us to line up better.
All of the couple's hard work and dedication paid off because the 2 of them will begin their residency in July, just about 50 minutes away from each other. She'll be in Detroit, Michigan, and he'll be in Grand Blanc, Michigan.
It's really hard to do, and we just got so lucky. I mean, you know, that there's that old saying of opportunity and hard work is where luck meets.
But before that, their next step is their wedding in just a few days.
Over the moon. You know, it's hard not to be excited for a future in orthopedics and excited for my fiance here, soon to be wife, 16 days away.
Reporting in Joplin, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
And Michaela matched into the ear, nose, and throat specialty, and Dominic matched into orthopedic surgery. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. It's Friday, and that means Shannon Becker joins us with his Big 3 stories of the week. Welcome back. We've got Shannon Becker in the studio with his Big 3 news stories of the week. Good morning. Happy Friday to you.
Oh, thank you very much. And you as well.
Yes.
Let's take a look at the Big 3 stories this week, live and local, what's happening where you live. This is a story I just thought was amazing. Bunch of strawberries, let's say, 40,000 pounds of strawberries. This is right on the interstate at the McDonald's that goes over I-44. This driver actually fell asleep and drove through that concrete barrier, which, I mean, I never knew a semi. I've seen semis hit it and move it, but he drove right through it.
Right through it.
Not injured, was standing there as everyone arrived. Obviously, I wonder who inside the restaurant maybe saw it even happen.
Yes.
It disrupted traffic over the weekend, probably about 6 hours, as that was a lengthy cleanup, something that could have been much worse, but thank goodness it wasn't. Our number 2 story. Another amazing story. I got to capture this. A Black Hawk helicopter. I guess this is something that's pretty common in bigger towns. You know, we live in a smaller place here. In Baxter Springs, Rouse Heating and Air needed to get this huge unit on top of a building at the KMT water jet. So they got a Black Hawk helicopter. They flew it in from Tulsa that morning. And they lifted the old one off and they put the new one on. I was so
like luxury treatment.
I was so excited to see it happen. It was so incredibly cool. This is a vantage point there from one of the workers. You could see the helicopter there. It's a real tight spot.
Yes.
You got electric lines everywhere, and they're kind of going into this little area on the top of the building. It took just a couple of hours, so not sure what that invoice was, but they said it was easier than using a crane in that tight spot. Our number 1 story, we've all been talking about it all week. It was amazing to see the weather, how it affected the area of the Neosho Airport. And they're in southern Newton County. We were there live just after that storm had passed and went on to Springfield. That's the entrance to the Neosho Airport. This is a silo, an area with 3 silos, not used anymore, right along the railroad tracks. The damage there, I was just, no pun intended, I was just blown away. It was so bizarre to see how those things collapsed. Nobody was injured. They're just calling it high winds.
Right.
These here. Now, they are still making reports for things that are further east, but they said they don't plan on changing their ideas of what really occurred here in that southern Newton County area. Our bonus story, teens and tween girls are excited. Five Below officially opens in Joplin this morning at 10 o'clock. Now, they have been actually open the past 2 days.
Oh, how
they got to work out the kinks, you know, before all the kids get there. So I've
actually
get their candy. I know they do. Their grand opening is actually this weekend. They'll have hot dogs and stuff tomorrow between 11 and 2. And they'll also be giving away some bags, little swag bag sort of thing if you want to get there at 10 o'clock. So they're the former Party City location. It's next to the Dollar Tree. So I don't know if there's going to be like, you remember in Anchorman, you know, when they were all out there fighting. I don't know if the Dollar Tree people and all they're going to get out there and start. I don't know.
Well,
I'm sure they won't. I'm sure they won't. But I know a lot of people are looking forward to it.
Exciting.
Yep. There you go. That's your big 3 in the bonus.
Well, Shannon, as always, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Happy to have you. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Well, again, we're still having these showers and thunderstorms, though they are working their way out, mostly staying south of I-44, so they are behaving, and we're also not seeing a lot of those thunderstorms out there. You can see some red, which means maybe some heavier rainfall, and then also a little bit of lightning, which could lead to some rumbles of thunder, but not a severe threat. Now you can see downtown Pittsburgh, pretty overcast, cloudy skies, maybe some light drizzles. You can see maybe some sprinkles, but not a big heavy rainfall out there. And then taking a look outside, 32nd range line, again, pretty wet, so the roads are going to be slick as you start your morning commute, but most of the rain is on its way out. So as we started our morning off, temperatures in the upper 50s. We had those rain showers and some rumbles of thunder, especially still staying south of I-44. If you're making your commute from southern counties, you might still get hit with some heavy rainfall. And then by this afternoon, we're switching over to isolated showers and thunderstorms that are going to pop up, widespread clouds, but isolated rainfall, and then temperatures reaching upper 60s. Now, if clouds clear a little bit earlier in the day, then we are going to see temperatures hitting about 70 degrees. Now, most of the rainfall we just saw on its way out. So it's mostly pushing out towards the Missouri, Arkansas side. So another 1/10 of an inch out on our eastern counties. And then we're looking good. We have those isolated showers, thunderstorms popping up. We looked at that earlier, not widespread. So most of us are going to stay dry. And then by this evening, we're back to clear skies, or mostly clear skies. Temperatures are going to be a bit cooler. And as we head into the weekend, we have average temperatures normally sitting in the mid 70s, though this weekend we're about 5 to even 10 degrees cooler than that. You can see Saturday 66, 67 degrees, Sunday 69 to 70 degrees, though it is going to be mostly sunny all weekend long, and finally dry weather, at least for 3 days or so. And then we start to see our low pressure system out in the west pushing in as our easterly low pressure system moves out to the northeast, and our ridge kind of moves out with it. So we're not seeing widespread or long-term warmer temperatures, unfortunately, just about 2 to 3 days before our next chance of rain moves in Tuesday. And then we have rain, showers, thunderstorms pushing in Tuesday, continuing Wednesday. So this is now 7 a.m., getting still some showers, some thunderstorms. That low pressure system moves over. We're bringing more rain, more isolated and scattered thunderstorms. This is now Thursday afternoon, so we're just having consistent rainfall chances. That starts Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday, and even into Saturday. So although we only have 3 days of dry weather, we're going to have 5 days of more rainfall, but average temperatures. So I say get out this weekend and enjoy, especially if not a lot of rainfall. Some of those muddy areas are going to dry out this weekend. It'd be a perfect chance to get outside, do some yard work before we have a next chance of consistent rainfall chances next week. That's a look at your forecast. We'll be right back.
Well, it's a different type of car race where the goal is endurance rather than speed, and it's allowing high school students to apply their STEM skills.
Barry Wong shows us how these students are honing these skills.
Go. Go, 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 go!
The beginning of the race is always the most stressful because you kind of have to see what everyone else is doing. And then you kind of have to know the track, know what lines other people are driving.
So it's electric car racing by high school students and those adults that wish to do it, with home-built electric cars. The goal is really, with 2 lead-acid batteries, to make as many laps in an hour as you can, because you don't have enough to go all out. You have just enough to maintain a level that you can keep speed throughout the course.
Recently, we've been doing work on our 100 car to redo the front end steering. That's been our primary goal. We're mainly working electrical. We're learning kind of automotive skills, and that depending on which career field someone goes into, they can apply these skills to that job. Getting hands-on experience, getting your hands dirty into it, and just getting practical experience in high school, going into college or into your career.
To start with, they can learn basic mechanics, power to weight ratio, gear ratios. If they build a car, they can learn skills of construction, including welding.
You know, when I teach basic electricity, you know, there's no connection to the real world. But now, with a 24-volt car, they can make that connection to what I've been teaching them in the classroom. Think of self-driving cars, that's a robotic car. Think of alternative energy cars, that's engineering and automotive. So we get the automotive kids together with the engineering kids, and really anybody who's interested in the school, and it's a sport. We're racing against other teams, high schools and adults and colleges. And our main goal is to give them hands-on experience. I mean, what employer wouldn't look down at a resume saying, you've been in on an electric-thon team, you're racing electric cars, what is that?
so incredibly cool.
It is. I was just saying, like, having that opportunity in high school, I would have loved that. That is so amazing that they get to do that and get to test out their cars too that they've made. And like, how incredible would you feel about yourself? You
so
built
rewarding.
This car. It is so rewarding. That's the word I was looking for. That is so awesome.
Absolutely. Great to see.
Well, what's not great to see is unfortunately starting our Friday morning off, a little bit of rain still sticking around. You can see mostly staying south of I-44. It does start to push out some stronger thunderstorms south of us, but we are looking good. Now you can see how all of that starts to clear out towards the east. And then we've got mostly dry weather for the rest of the afternoon. Once all that clears out in the next hour or two. Now we do have a cold front pushing through following all of these rain showers this morning, and then we're going to get these isolated pop-up storms coming up later this afternoon. Once all that passes, by about mid-afternoon, about 5-6 p.m., we are going to start to see finally clear skies. Those clear out for the weekend, and we've got sunny skies all weekend long. That's going to be a great looking weekend. And then we also have a chance for rain starting next week on Tuesday.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The city of Miami gets major backing in its ongoing battle with the Grand River Dam Authority. The Federal Energy Regulatory Commission recently ruled the GRDA was in violation of its operational license. The Oklahoma Municipal League is now backing the city of Miami and wants to hold the GRDA accountable. Now, the league urges the FERC to impose limitations and requirements regarding the relicensure and operations of the Pensacola Dam. And the Neosho School District has a reason to celebrate as the ribbon is cut on their new agriculture center. The 30,000 square foot facility will house 400 students, grades 7th through 12th. Officials say the facility provides not only more space for both students and teachers, but also gives students the chance to have a more interactive, hands-on learning experience. And Miami residents gathered for a joint special meeting to discuss electric utility rates and community fiber upgrades. The presentation broke down how rate changes could impact household bills now and in the future. City officials also outlined current internet services and potential expansions through the community fiber project.
And we have rain showers that continue over the next hour or two. Once all that widespread rain gets out of here towards the east, cold front moves through, and we do see a couple of isolated showers popping up along that cold front, just behind that cold front. Not widespread, so for the rest of the afternoon, most of us are going to be mostly cloudy to partly cloudy skies. All those isolated showers, thunderstorms clear out by about mid-afternoon, 5-6 p.m. And then we're finally seeing clear skies that continue for the weekend. You can see sunny skies all the way through Monday before our next chance of rain on Tuesday.
Sunny skies all the way through Monday. Sounds really nice.
Cannot complain about that, I know, right?
All right. Well, students at St. Peter Middle School and McCauley Catholic High School experienced a closer look at the process for choosing a new pope. The kids spend the week exploring the conclave process, learning more about the top papal contenders and evaluating things like age, country of origin, years as a cardinal, and roles of committees they serve on within the church.
In case you're wondering, the students chose Germany's Cardinal Reinhard Marx to become the next pope.
We'll have to see if those students are right.
Yeah.
Of course, next week is when the official conclave in Rome begins, and I think about so the movie Conclave that came out over the winter in 2024 was so popular, and it's surging with viewership right now just because so many people are really interested in the process. Right. We haven't had one in over a decade.
Yes, so I remember the last time we did it, because I did go to a Catholic school as well.
You did it as well?
We did this exact same thing that they're doing, kind of learned the process of it, and it is very interesting. I haven't seen that movie you're talking about.
You should check it out. It's pretty interesting. Did Pope Francis win your guys' conclave?
You know what? I don't remember.
You don't remember?
You know what? I'd have to maybe think back a little bit harder.
Too funny.
Well, thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We'll be back with more news and weather at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.